I have a special guest who called in to talk some NFL football with us today on the show. His name is Derick Hingle. He's a photographer for USA Sports Images. How you doing today, Derick?
I'm doing well. How are you, Lance?
I'm doing great. Thanks for calling into the show today. So why don't you tell everybody? Sounds like a pretty fun and interesting job being a professional photographer for USA Sports Images. How did you get your start in that particular field?
USA Today Sports Images. I've been photographer since about 2009 with them. Before that, I'd kind of started out with a small newspaper, and I worked my portfolio up and got noticed by some people, and got hooked up with USA Today Sports Images, which used to be a company called US Press Wire. They kind of merged in with USA Today, and for them I covered mostly the Saints, LSU football, and the New Orleans Pelicans basketball team. I've also had some opportunities to do some big events like the Super Bowl, NCAA Final Four, the BCS Championship game, the NBA Finals, College World Series, and also got to go out to Florida for spring training baseball, and I'm based in the New Orleans area.
Oh man, wow, that's very exciting. So, what is the most fun or exciting or fulfilling part about your job?
As a sports fan myself, I get to be right in the middle of the action, capturing the action. Although it's not the fun and games people think of, just being on the sideline for an event. It is hard work and very competitive work, and I get to capture these incredible moments that happen in these games, and especially exciting to be part of big events like Super Bowls and championships. Things like that are quite exciting.
Yeah, I would assume so. Now, so what is like the most challenging part of your job?
Being in the right place at the right time with football, you would say. Because if you're shooting the defense and the offense scores a touchdown, then you probably just missed that shot. But it's kind of a game of anticipation. What you think is going to happen, so you have to kind of trust your instincts. And my instincts have been good for me in the sports world, and I've made a kind of successful venture here with sports photography.
Okay, good. That's great. And my last question to you in regards to the line of work that you do, what are some of the things that a photographer is rated on, or how would you grade out as far as if somebody was going to review your work? What things would they be looking for? What is it that actually makes a good photographer who's shooting live events, live sporting events?
Well, it's capturing the big plays, the moments during the game, but also looking for the right features in a game. A player holding their head down after they've thrown an interception, or the reaction of a team on the sideline after a big play. It's capturing those type of moments. Such as one of my biggest moments that I've ever captured. I would say one of my favorite images is from the New Orleans Saints NFC Championship game back in 2010, when they kicked the winning field goal to go to the Super Bowl, and I did not have a shot at where I was placed at the field goal. So I looked at the sideline and waited for the reaction. It was going to either be a big celebration as the kick went through and the team celebrated that they're going to the Super Bowl for the first time in history, or everybody was going to fall to the ground on their knees in despair as he missed the kick. And as they would have it, Garrett Hartley made that kick, and I have an image of the entire sideline erupting in celebration as the team went to the Super Bowl, and then I continued on to try and capture everything that's going on the field. You run onto the field, and I got great images of the kicker being carried off on the shoulders of the players. So that's quite an exciting moment for both me as a photographer and as a fan of the Saints, seeing that moment. But as a fan, I can't show that emotion. So that's one of the hardest things, is keeping that emotion in check as a fan and as a photographer, keeping those two things separate and just treating it as a job, and never letting that emotion get to me in the moment, because I wouldn't be capturing that moment if I let the emotion get to me.
I would certainly assume so. Good stuff there. So yeah, I'm happy that you brought that up, because now, myself, all of my listeners and viewers here, we have a much better idea. For example, like you said, if we see a picture in the paper that says, Drew Brees' late interception caused the Saints to lose, and there's this still capture, of Brees with his head down. Now we kind of know, some of the things that you're looking for. So that's good stuff there. Definitely good information to know. Now, you said that you're a Saints fan, so let's talk a little bit about the Saints this year. They're off to a very shaky start. They're 2-3. Man, their offense has not found its rhythm yet. I know in last week's game against Tampa Bay, I think it speaks to the volume of how much Tampa Bay's offense was not on the field, but Drew Brees threw the football 57 times. I know that he's a gunslinger, but that's an awful lot of times to throw in a football game. I mean, the Saints offense just doesn't seem to be clicking on all cylinders. I know that, and I'm happy I love to hear from people who are actually there to give an inside look. For us on the outside looking in, we're saying, okay, well, we understand that you lost Mark Ingram. The Saints traditionally, since Drew Brees and Sean Payton have gotten there, haven't been a team to kind of run the football consistently. I know the year that they went to the Super Bowl, that was one of their assets. They were ranked 7th in the NFL rushing, so it provided them some balance. But nonetheless, Mark Ingram, before he hurt his hand, was running very well. I would say that Kyrie Robinson has done a decent job in a couple weeks that he's been in the lineup. When you look at the wide receivers, though, like I said, us on the outside looking in, we're saying, okay, you got Jimmy Graham. You have Marcus Colston, who I thought would be a much bigger part of the offense this year, because if you look at the other receivers, you have a rookie in Brandon Cooks. You have a second-year guy in Kenny Stills. Robert Meacham is still there. He's a veteran, but it just doesn't seem like the cohesiveness is there for the Saints on offense, although they, have scored some points and moved the football. But like, for example, in week 3 against their first home game against the Vikings, typically, or last year, that was a rout. That was a game that New Orleans would have blew Minnesota out of the building, but they went two straight quarters in that game without scoring a single point. Up until the fourth quarter, where Marcus Colston caught the game-winning touchdown, they had only scored one touchdown. And then you look at what they did in Dallas, and in the first half, they didn't score a single point. So maybe you could help us out a little bit. What's going on with the Saints' offense this year, and why hasn't it fully found its stride yet?
I wish I had those answers myself. As a fan watching the team, I mostly get just to watch the road games. I'm at the home game, shooting the game, but you're in the zone of as a photographer, and not necessarily seeing everything that's going on or taking in everything that's going on. I really didn't realize through it 57 times. That's a big amount for a football game, and usually when they throw that much, they end up losing. They came out on the right end this week, but definitely the wide receivers are struggling to get that rhythm with Drew this year. They had the big play, I believe it was in Atlanta, where Colston fumbled, and they could have won that game, but that fumble cost them watching the game. It was either in Atlanta or in Cleveland. I don't remember which one that was. But Brandon Cooks is a really exciting player so far. I don't know why he's not quite getting in that rhythm. He had an incredible preseason, and then he hasn't quite caught on as much since the first game of the season. He's kind of had a little bit of a tough time, but he does get it's probably going to take him a little time to get into a rhythm with Drew. Kenny Stills has kind of been hobbled up with some injuries, so he's making his way back into the lineup. I don't know if he's quite 100% or not yet. So really, you have Colston and Cooks at wide receiver right now, and Robert Meacham is kind of a fourth guy in my opinion. Getting a little bit older. He's still there. They actually had cut him and then re-signed him before the beginning of the season. So not sure that he's the answer for the team at wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And like I said, I'm really shocked at Marcus Colston. And that was the game against Atlanta that he fumbled the football, and then the next week at Cleveland, he didn't have a single catch. So I don't know if that's something that, kind of got in his head. I know that he was very upset after that fumble. He came to the sidelines, threw his helmet down. I had played a really good game up until that point. And so, now looking at the Saints now, they have a bye week. So I'm quite sure that gives them time to regroup. They are expecting Mark Ingram back. The shoulder sprain that Jimmy Graham suffered, the same thing. He's supposed to be back. And so we'll see. It's just shocking when you see a Saints team who, like I said, in back-to-back games couldn't manufacture points in 2 straight quarters, let alone a touchdown. It's just unheard of from Drew Brees in that offense. I think something else, though, that might be a little more surprising is what's going on the defensive side of the football. I know that you guys just had a big loss. Your free agent pickup, Jarius Byrd from the Bills. He had his season come to an end after an injury in practice this week. But even when he was in there, the Saints defense has just been missing in action this year. I don't see the Saints getting much of a pass rush. I know that ending last year, defensive end Cameron Jordan was turning into one of the better defensive ends in the NFL. And you got Curtis Lofton at middle linebacker. Kenny Vaccaro had a strong rookie season. You've got Kendrick Lewis at one defensive back, but with Rob Ryan, coming over there to be a defensive coordinator, this was supposed to be a much improved group, and it actually seems like they've taken a step backwards. The Saints defense looks like it's playing worse than it did last year. Well, what do you see going on the defensive side of the football?
Yeah, that's the big question right now is what has happened to the defense. Again, wish I could tell you. Everybody's kind of scratching their head about the defense. They thought it was going to be a real strength to the team, and so far they struggled. Hopefully, with this bye week, Rob Ryan can get the guys back on track. The loss of Jarius Byrd is potentially a huge loss. I don't think he had really a chance to work himself into that lineup yet, and I think he would have been a great asset for the team. Now that falls on to Raphael Bush, and hopefully he can pick up the slack where Jarius leaves, and Kenny Vaccaro can come back and start to play like he did his rookie season. Like you said, one of the big things is the pass rush, and they're just not getting that pass rush most of the time this year. I'm not sure what's happened with that. They have the same guys pretty much on the line, and Gillette and Jordan, along with Team Hicks. So those are 3 strong defensive presences on the line, and they're just not getting that push to the quarterback. They did it a few times against Tampa, and that was the big turning point in the Tampa game was the sack in the end zone by Junior Gillette. that kind of turned the momentum around for the Saints and helped them to that overtime victory. Which, as a photographer, funny enough, that was one of the shots I missed because I'm laying down in the end zone, and referee just steps just a little bit, enough in my way to knock that focus off. I caught his leg, and I missed the shot of the actual sack, and then shot the celebration of Gillette and Junior Gillette and Cameron Jordan after the sack.
Okay, great. Well, before you get out of here, we definitely want to make sure that you continue to check in with us. Every couple weeks, we definitely like to stay in touch with you and continue to talk about the Saints and certainly hear about your exciting work that you have going on this year. Right now, the good thing for the Saints is they're in the division. That they're only one game behind, so as bad as a start as they've gotten off to, and we've seen New Orleans do that a couple years in the Drew Brees, Sean Payton era, where they get off to these slow starts. But Carolina's only one game ahead at 3-2. They haven't played them yet. They pretty much still have, they're 1-1 in the division. They still have 4 division games left, and like I said, Atlanta's 2-3, Tampa Bay's 1-4. So in regards to the division, they're still very much in it. Are you confident that New Orleans can turn this thing around and win their division this year?
It seems like the NFC South is a lot weaker than anybody anticipated. So I think the Saints have an excellent chance of still winning this division. But it's certainly not so far it's not the team that everybody thought was coming out of the gate. Everybody, I say everybody, a lot of predictions had the Saints like 13-3 and going to the Super Bowl, and that's going to be tough because you'd have to win every game left to reach that 13-3. But a lot of teams have been struggling this year. The Packers had a little struggles. Seattle's even lost the game. New England got blown out in a game. So I'm not sure what's going on with this NFL season this year, but hopefully they get everything back on track with this bye week and can get back to business and look like the team that everybody expected when they come back in a couple of weeks.
Definitely. That's going to be a big game there. When they come back, they're going to be playing the Green Bay Packers, so that certainly should be exciting, seeing Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees go at it. All right, Derick, before you get out of here, feel free to leave your Twitter, your Facebook, contact information to your company or your photography work, or any parting shots. Feel free to go ahead.
Sure. I can be reached at Derick Hingle on Instagram and Twitter. That's DerickHingle. And my website is www.dhphotography.biz.
Okay.
B-I-Z.
All right, Derick. Well, thanks a lot for coming on the show today. And like I said, we certainly look forward to hearing from you every couple of weeks to check in on the Saints and hear about some of these great shots that you continue to take. And I'm quite sure on Twitter and Instagram, your pages, as well as your website, we can get an opportunity to see some of these photos. Are those photos that you take at the games and these various events? Do you update them kind of weekly or things of that nature?
I haven't used Twitter as often lately. I am very active on Instagram, and my website does need some updating, but there's plenty of pictures from the past, probably back to last year, and a lot of pictures from my NBA Finals and College World Series, all those big events. People can see pictures from those big events on my website.
Okay, sounds good. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, once again, that was Derick Hingle. He is a professional photographer. He has his own website, but he also does his work for USA Today Sports Images. So we'll be more than happy to support him in his efforts.